Hey there guys, about Stowo here, and today what I've got for you is the Navy Diaphragm Mark V. So getting into the history of this thing, during the 1950s, the United States Navy wanted to replace their old stocks of Navy Diaphragm Mark IIIs and Navy Diaphragm Mark IVs. So what they ended up doing is taking the basic design layout of the NC-1, the civil defense mask from World War II, and actually make it much more robust, and, well, the Navy Diaphragm Mark V came of it. So, interestingly enough, the Navy Diaphragm Mark V was actually obsoleted during the 1980s, but then still saw use until, well, the mid 1990s because stocks of MCU 2Ps, the mask that was meant to replace the ND Mark V, were low enough to where they just had to use leftover Navy Diaphragm Mark Vs. So, with the history out of the way, why don't we look at the mask itself? The mask has this big panoramic lens, which, allows for greater vision, something that the earlier Navy diaphragms did not have. Then you've got, of course, your diaphragm. This one actually rattles quite a bit in my experience, as it is just a piece of plastic with a little bit of a wire mesh on the other side of it, which I will show you later. And then your exhale valve, which just comes off like that, and it is just a normal exhale valve with some de-icing spikes in there. So besides being a 5-point head harness, one of the very few that the United States has ever adopted, off the top of my head, I can really only think of the corrected English, but I'm sure there is more. But on top of that, this is a rubber head harness. Again, the US didn't use a lot of these, so that's interesting. So on top of the head harness being generally pretty interesting because of how, well, thematically incorrect it is with the rest of American head harnesses, it's also got this. These bottom straps are actually serrated here. Well, I don't know if serrated is the right word. It's got a bunch of grooves on it. Now, these straps are actually very well designed, uh, and they actually allow for very, very quick adjusting. So, like, while, these top three straps are meant to be pre-adjusted, these two are always stored at the very loosest possible, adjustment, right? So when you don your mask, all you need to do is just pull that, and it locks into place. It's very smooth to tighten it, but it also it takes some effort to loosen it, right? So it's a very good idea, and I really like that, and is really the only good thing about this head harness. Well, I guess that it's not the only good thing about this head harness. You've got this kind of pseudo skull cap. It's not really a skull cap, but it's much wider than a lot of head harnesses from the era are, and that's pretty nice. But something I would like to mention really quick before we get to the filters is, well, this top strap has a tendency to harden inside of the buckle and then break off when adjusting it. Mine has actually done that. You can see it's torn off there. Yep. So if you're storing this mask, just undo this entire strap. Just leave it loose. Don't have it in the buckle. So the Navy Diaphragm Mark V's filters, the C1, don't actually attach like, well, really any other filter that the United States has ever used. Because you see, instead of threading on or being attached by wire and tape, they are actually inserted via, this rubber skirt that's a lot like those on outserts. Now, the C1 filter is actually referred to as a 55mm filter for some reason. I believe it's because of this inlet on the top here, because that's like slightly smaller than 60mm, so I don't know. That might be it, might not be it. I don't fucking know. But anyway, it connects onto this plate here, this nice plastic plate that, well, you can see your inlet valve on there, and it's got, well, two filters. That's really it. So now we've got the inside. The first thing I actually want to point out is another place where this mask differs from, Well, every other mask that the US has adopted. It actually has a peripheral seal that's inflated. This is a tube full of air, and that is how the mask seals to the face. That is something you don't really see on American masks, well, ever. So, at the top here, you can see your, 1969 nice date stamp. Then going down, you got your lens, and then your voice emitter. There is the wire mesh with the, plastic membrane, you know, the thing that gives the mask its name. Then you've got your TSO deflectors, which are two just giant molded things. You can see the other end of your inlet valve there. God, my example is fucking filthy. I need to clean this thing better. Well, yeah, then you've got your exhale valve down there. And really, that's about it for the interior. So I'm going to start showing you the kit. Now, there is your carrier. We'll talk about that second, but first we're going to talk about the anti-dim. Mind you, early examples like what I've got, I would not actually be using this, M1 anti-fogging kit. They would instead be using gray metal cans that have a cloth and also a vial of anti-dimming liquid inside of them, and not, well, this. So opening this up, it's just, your plastic cap, and you've got a cloth in there. Nothing special, nothing new. You know what anti-dim looks like. Let me close that up. And now let's talk about the carrier. I really like this carrier. In fact, during the times before online classes and, well, being locked indoors by a pandemic for months and months, I actually used this as like a book bag when I was cycling to classes. Also, right off the bat, I should mention that there are two variants of this carrier. You've got ones like this is the earlier type, and then later ones would say something along the lines of United States Navy Mask Chemical Biological Navy Diaphragm Mark 5 or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. Yeah. So, here you've got your flap. It's got one lifted dot there. And then on the back here, you've got your shoulder or waist strap. And then your retaining strap, which, just connects like that. It's, really, it's a really simple carrier. I like it. So unlike the M5 carrier used with the Navy Diaphragm series prior to this, the Navy Diaphragm Mark V's carrier does not actually have any sort of like extra rain gusset. They've got these kind of folded in areas here, but I don't really count those too much. And here's the inside of the carrier. You can kind of see down there, there's a little loop for your anti-dim, and the rest is just a big pocket. Oh, and something incredibly important that I am amazed I did not mention until now is that this thing is actually reinforced with a metal plate. So you see from this point up until, well, the top, there is this metal hard bit that, keeps the carrier safe. It's not present on the back, but on the entire front it is there. Keeps your mask safe. Real nice. Now, before I end the video, there's really just one more thing I want to say about this mask, and it is something that I forgot to bring up earlier. It's that this mask actually has a couple hood stops right above the lens. You see these things, and, well, it's really that. Anyways, that's really about it. I wanted to do some sort of, big Christmas special, but I decided against it because, well, time is running out, and I don't really know what to do for that. So, anyhow, whatever you're celebrating, whether it be Hanukkah, Christmas, or whatever, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you in the next one.